Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and for those of you who are new here, make sure to subscribe before you keep watching. I am so sorry for those of you who have been waiting for me to post a video it's been like 4 weeks. My apologies, there's been a lot going on, and that is why I am coming today with a video on just like a little life update, what's been going on, why I haven't been filming, etc, etc. So if you're interested on what's been going on in my life, please keep watching. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I just moved last week. It's been a week in my new apartment as of yesterday. I moved into an apartment that I've literally been looking at since I moved to Rhode Island. Not the apartment itself, but the building. So for those of you who don't know, I moved from Boston to Rhode Island almost 2 years ago. I cannot believe that it's been that long. I think it's next month. In June, it'll be officially 2 years of me living and being a Rhode Islander. And yeah, let's get to the juicy stuff. I feel like I've been rambling and not really saying anything important. But today, I asked you guys that follow me on Instagram, what are you interested in me recording for you to see? And for the most part, I always get the same response, and it's pretty much just my surgery. So I feel like it's appropriate for me to talk about right now because we are in the month of mental health awareness. And if you know me, or if you're close to me, you know that I struggle with anxiety. Not only with anxiety, but also with body image issues. I've been struggling with it pretty much my whole life. A part of it, or the majority of it, stems from the fact that I started competing at such a young age, competing in pageants. So I started competing in pageants when I was 12 years old. Through that, I developed a lot of insecurities, mostly that were just in my mind, but also because of everything that happens around that industry. I've always been too short to model. It was always a dream of mine to do so, but I am only 5'1", so my dreams of modeling were cut short, no pun intended. But through pageantry, I won my first competition, and that kind of, I was always such a shy girl, and winning that pageant kind of gave me like a boost of confidence, and I guess you could say I was bit by the pageant bug. Throughout all my years of competing, I was very often told that I was too large, large in the sense of fat. I've never been big, to be honest, but it developed this thing in my mind where I never ever could accept the way I looked. It even got to the point where my first year competing for Miss Massachusetts USA, I weighed probably, I was training with someone, I'm not gonna mention her name, but I was training with someone who at the time I felt like was doing the most incredible thing for my body. I ended up weighing, for my first year competing at Miss Mass USA, I weighed about 95 pounds or 100 pounds if I'm not mistaken. And I thought I looked good to a certain extent. I thought I looked good because I had lost weight. However, in my mind, I thought I could still lose more, which of course is not healthy at all. I'll insert a picture so you guys can see. That was my first year competing at Miss Mass. The following year, I competed at a pageant called Miss Latin International. And to be honest, that year I did feel a lot healthier. I still trained with the same person. However, I did not go to the extreme that I did the first year. For this pageant, it was a Latin pageant. Therefore, that meant that I could be a little bit more curvy, and not that you can't be curvy in the USA system, but I felt more confident having my curves in a Latin-based system than I would in a USA system. So I didn't go as crazy as I did my first year for Mass USA. I weighed about 102 pounds, 105 pounds, and still, to me, I felt like I could have been skinnier. I came in the top 3 I was second runner-up. I have my opinions towards everything that happens in that competition, but you know, everything happens for a reason. I did win most beautiful, I don't know how to translate in English, but rostro más hermoso, which it pretty much just says like prettiest face, I guess. And I thought that by competing in that pageant I was gonna have so much exposure, I was going to do so many things, and honestly I didn't, but it's okay. It was another experience under my belt. I did enjoy it. It was a beautiful production. It was extremely extra, and I'm an extra person, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. Anyways, I feel like I'm rambling a lot about my pageant life. I'm definitely going to make a video in regards to that, but my point is that throughout my pageant career, I competed at Miss Mass USA 3 times, and I recently competed in Miss Rhode Island USA once last year. And then prior to that, I competed in a lot of Latin-based pageants. Won some, lost some, first runner-up, second runner-up, top 5, semi-finalist, all of that. And every time that I competed, I was always told, you could have been skinnier, or you could have looked better, or you could have lost more weight. And you know, growing up and being an adolescent, or even a teenager, those kind of things just kind of stick to your minds. And it developed really bad body image issues in my mind, and I struggled with eating disorder. In high school, I would oftentimes faint because I wasn't eating. It got to the point where I was forced to have lunch with a guidance counselor just to make sure that I was eating, and it was a struggle. I feel like it was a really dark time. I felt like I was okay, but now when I look back to it, it's like, wow, like why did I do that to myself? And I thought that a lot of people around me thought that if I went to counseling and I spoke to someone about what was going through my mind or the issues that I had, it would fix me. And I genuinely thought that I was fixed after a while. I was like, you know, I don't need that. I'm eating, it's okay. Even now I think to myself, I'm like, oh, I'm eating, it's okay. But fast forward, I started to get really into and look into cosmetic procedures. So I always wanted to get lipo, something I was thinking about doing since I was like 15. I always had like a little pouch. I've always been not skinny, but I've always been like a healthy weight, except for when I just went overboard and lost way too much. But I always had this little pouch on my stomach that I wanted to get rid of. So I started working in the nightlife, and I feel like my issues with myself kind of started getting worse because I was seeing so many girls with what I thought was such an amazing body, and skinny, flat stomach, small arms, small legs, you know, all the shebang. So I went and got lipo. I went last year in February of 2019. I went to Medellin, Colombia, and I went and got lipo and BBL. It was literally the most painful thing I've ever done in my entire life. I guess let's start with the beginning, I guess. So I decided to go the week. My birthday is February 8th. If I'm not mistaken, that fell on a Friday, and I left to Colombia on Monday. Got my surgery Thursday. I believe that was the timeline. So I got my surgery. I literally met the doctor 2 minutes before I was put to sleep, which is insane now that I think about it. However, they did run a lot of tests when I first got there. They checked my blood, my heart, everything. I did so many medical tests. While I was there, I found out I was anemic. I didn't even know I was anemic, but it explains a lot. It explains why I'm always tired, I'm always cold, I'm always, you know, low energy. So because I was anemic, or I am anemic, I had to take a lot of iron pills and a lot of things to bring up my hemoglobin and all that. So my nurse was making me juices to bring that up. Like I said, I woke up at about 5 a.m. the day of my surgery. They brought me to the hospital or the clinic. I sat in a room. They took a finger prick of my blood, asked me my blood type, and then I sat in just a little cubicle with my nightgown and just my hair wrapped. I remember that. And I was just praying. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Oh, I forgot to mention, I went to Colombia completely by myself. Didn't tell my mom that I was going. Didn't tell anyone, literally. I just was like, you know what, I'm doing this. Packed my bags and I left. So I decided to tell my mom pretty much 2 days before the surgery when I was already in Colombia, which probably was the worst thing that I could ever do. But hey, I was already there, right? So I'm sitting in this little cubicle and they call my name. I go into the, what is it called? The surgery room. And I meet the doctor. I take my nightgown off. I have to show him everything that I want to get done. My arms, my legs, my stomach, my back, my butt. The only thing I remember saying to him was, quiero parecerme a una señorita Colombia. Like, I don't want to look exaggerated. I don't want these huge curves. I already have a small waist. I literally just want something natural. I want to look like a Miss Colombia. I want to look like a pageant queen, a perfect pageant queen. And that was the only conversation I had with that doctor. I never told him anything, I guess. And I laid down on the bed and I remember them telling me, okay, they put an IV. Pretty sure it was an IV. I don't even remember. Yeah, it was an IV. And then they told me, all right, you're gonna feel a little loopy in 3, 2. I was gone. Gone. I don't remember. The next thing I know, I wake up and I am in the most excruciating pain. I started screaming. I was in the recovery room. I started screaming because I was so cold. I was freezing. And I'm assuming it's because of all the blood you lose. I mean, I'm anemic, you know, all the shebang. And it was such a weird feeling. And I was scared because, to be honest, I didn't even remember what was going on. It kind of like took a minute for me to, you know, hit me and for me to realize, like, girl, you just did the same thing. And yeah. So I woke up. I was crying. They were telling me to stop crying because I was going to scare the other girls that were there. And they gave me crackers, juice, and all that until I was a little bit more stable. When I was stable enough, my nurse that took care of me during the time that I was in Colombia, the driver that drove me back and forth from my appointments to the house that I was staying in, they came and got me. I, again, was in excruciating pain. I could barely move. They walked me to the car. Even to sit down in the car took probably a whole 2 minutes because I would like have to hold on to the top of the car and like hold to the side and hold somebody's arm and then like slowly sit down, and my butt hurt and my side hurt, and it was insane. So yeah, I got to the house. As soon as I got back to the house, I remember I was so cold. I put on long sleeve, long pants, and I'm pretty sure I had a sweater on. But again, I was in so much pain. As soon as I got to the apartment, I remember I laid down on the couch. It was the only way I could get comfortable. I laid down on the couch and I knocked out. It's Colombia. It's obviously so hot over there. I woke up drenched in sweat, but I was so cold. But yeah, it was pretty painful the first day. I refused to eat. I did not want to eat. I didn't want anything to do with food, nothing. I was like, leave me alone, don't touch me, don't look at me, nothing. I felt so bad for my nurse. She was so nice, but I just couldn't deal with the pain. And I'm the kind of person that I like to be really independent. If I can do something on my own, I'm going to do it. So she was supposed to help me take a bath or a shower. She was supposed to help me use the bathroom. She was supposed to help me even brush my teeth, and I refused to let her help me, even to get into bed. I would do it all on my own. So that night she found me in the shower by myself. She's like, ¿qué haces? Like freaking out. She's thinking that I was gonna fall or something. So sleeping was extremely uncomfortable for the first, to be honest, for the first few months. But that first week, it was so uncomfortable. I kept waking up having to turn. In order for me to turn to a different side, if I was like on my back to turn to the side, it would literally take, I'm not even exaggerating, maybe 5 minutes. To turn onto my stomach, same thing. Even just to get out of bed to use the bathroom was nearly impossible. I remember one day I did feel a little better, so I was able to wash my hair, but I could barely raise my arms. So I like very, very lightly washed my hair. When I finally got my faja, the compression Spanx, that thing, yeah. The size that I got, I don't know if it was too tight, because to be honest with you, I didn't feel like it was tight. But on my arm, because it was long, it was short sleeves, and on my legs, because it went past my knee, it was cutting off the circulation. So my whole arm, both of them, turned black because I was getting no blood flow. And my leg, I have a picture. I'm going to try to post as many pictures as I can find. I was sending my mom updates pretty much every day, but I got a new phone, so I don't have those pictures. I'm going to try to get them, and if I do, I'll insert them here. My foot was so swollen. I couldn't even put my sneakers on because I had literally no blood flow because of the faja was so tight. So when I was able to go to the doctors, they pretty much told me to take it off for a few days just to, get the blood flow going. Which brings me to getting the massages. So when you get lipo, you have to drain the body fluid out of the incisions that they make in your body to take the fat out. Those massages are literally the most painful thing in the entire world. The lady that was doing my massages is really intense. Like, I was told multiple times that she's the most aggressive massager in the clinic, but that I needed it because I had a lot of fluid that was retained in my body. So every day I dreaded seeing her. I literally told her I hate you like a million times. When in the end, she did a really good job draining me. What else? Oh, when I would go to the clinic the first few days to get to the massaging room, it was up a flight of stairs, a lot of stairs. It seemed like the most longest stairs ever. But because of my anemia, I was extremely, extremely weak. So the first few days that I was going to the clinic, I had zero energy, and I didn't even notice it. I guess that I was like stumbling, and yeah, so I had to keep getting, what are those called? Shots? Or IVs or something like that. I had to keep getting pretty much something to get my blood count up, my red blood cells, or my hemoglobin, something like that. So I kept having to get some shots. And those shots, because my arms were like so weak and everything, I got so many shots to the point where my arm hurt so much that every time I went to the clinic, I would cry and tell them, please, I don't want another shot. The shots, it's kind of like, it felt like, kind of like when you get the flu shot. That you get the flu shot and then your whole arm feels numb. Okay, so this shot, you get it, and then you feel the pain of whatever the liquid was going through your veins. Like, I literally would cry and tell the nurse, do not give me another shot. And she would tell me that I absolutely needed it. So yeah, fast forward, I came home. Before you leave, I stayed in Colombia for 17 days. I think 5 of them, it was pre-surgery, and the rest I was over there. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Was it 17? Yeah, I was 17. So before you come back, when you go to the hospital, they tell you that when you get to the airport, you have to act like everything is 100% normal. You can't look like you're in pain. You can't make anything suspicious that'll make them know that you got surgery, because if immigration or the people at the airport finds out that you did, you are obligated to stay in the country for 30 days. If I would have had to stay in Colombia for 30 days, honey, by myself, no, I would have lost it. So yeah, I came back home. The flight home was extremely uncomfortable. I'm pretty sure I fell asleep from Colombia to Panama. I'm pretty sure I was awake. And then from Panama to Boston, I was sleeping for the most part. But but it was extremely uncomfortable when I got home. I was so happy, and my mom picked me up and we went to go eat at one of my favorite restaurants in Boston. Literally the most basic thing you can think of. It was oven baked chicken and yuca and batata, but that's literally like what I love to eat. Fast forward a couple first months were painful to sleep. I wanted to cry. I went straight back to work in the nightlife. So lifting my arms, lifting things that I was not supposed to be doing. My body hurt. I was also waitressing at a brunch. That brunch was from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. literally standing the entire time and waitressing about 100 to 150 people every Sunday. It was insane, extremely painful. I would get home and cry from the pain, take the hottest shower and just lay down, go to sleep. So the first few months were really painful. My body was hurting and everything. Fast forward, it's been a year and 2 months, I believe. My body still hurts from time to time. It hurts, my butt hurts to sit on something hard. So usually I like to sit on a pillow or just something with a little cushion. My body, in terms of like my sides, they hurt a little bit, and I gained weight. That's the part I was trying to avoid saying, but I gained weight. My body doesn't look that amazing. I mean, to the outside world it does maybe, but to me, I'm just like, why did I do this? Not that I'm not happy. I am happy, but I think it was more so my fault, because before I left to Colombia, I was working a lot and I had let someone that I considered a friend borrow money. This wasn't a crazy amount of money. It was $500. And when I came back from Colombia, because I was in Colombia for so long, I honestly didn't have much money left from my savings. So I was counting on the money that I had let this ex-friend borrow to get my massages. The massages are extremely important because it's what pretty much molds your body and prevents you from getting, oh my god, I forgot the word, but it's like the craters that people get from lipo if you don't get the massages. So I unfortunately wasn't able to get the massages the way that I should have. I was supposed to start getting them as soon as I came back. I started maybe 3 weeks later, and I was only able to do, I think, 12 of them, and I was required to do at least 20. So I stopped going, therefore my body is kind of, I feel like my stomach looks weird. And moral of the story, the reason why I mentioned pageantry and the fact that, you know, I went through all that stuff with my body image issues is that, to be honest, the lipo didn't fix me, and I genuinely thought that it would, but it didn't fix me, and here I am still. I'm 27. I've been struggling with eating disorders and body image issues pretty much my whole life. It's a little easier for me to talk to now, but I do have people in my life that if I mention the fact that I feel unsatisfied with my body, or, you know, if I mention just that I feel fat or that I feel overweight, I do have people in my life that kind of, not, I don't think body shame is the correct term, but they get upset because they feel like I say it just to say it, or I say it to make people feel worse about themselves or something. But this is something that I've literally struggled with my entire life, pretty much, and it's something that I definitely don't wish upon anyone, because it's really hard. You look at, or when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're just like, I could fix this, I could fix that. And that is pretty much what I've battled with in my mind for so long now that I'm kind of just immune to it. And like I said, there's points where I feel like I kind of get over it, because by no means am I as bad as I used to be. I do eat. I love eating, but I'd be lying if I said that there aren't times that I eat and then think about how much I'm eating and I punish myself. So if I eat something bad right now, or if I feel like I ate too much right now, tomorrow I'll be like, okay, I can't eat all day. And I know that that's something that is not healthy and I should work on. But at the same time, I do feel like it's a step in the right direction in terms of how bad I was, and then compared to the progress, kind of, I guess that's not even a good word to use, but progress that I've made up until now. So yeah, everybody has been asking me to make a surgery video. I hope that this pretty much answered a lot of your questions. If you guys do have questions in regards to my experience, please let me know. One question I'm assuming I'm going to get is if I plan on getting more surgery, and the answer is yes. I mentioned this before. I would like to get a breast reduction sometime in the near future when the Rona is not going on, because I was hoping to get that this summer, but there are more important things to worry about right now. Of course, I will definitely take better preventative measures. I will make sure that my iron level is high. I will make sure that I do not go by myself. I will stay in the United States. Yeah, guys, that is my journey with part of my mental health issues, and I wouldn't even call them issues. I just feel like they're mental health learning experiences that I've had. I could talk about my anxiety some other time, but this has to do with my surgery and my body image issues. And yeah, I guess the moral of the story is, just because you feel a certain way, you shouldn't go to the extreme to try to fix yourself, because to be honest, you have to fix yourself from within before you make anything drastic to the outside, because maybe at the end of the day, maybe the changes that you do on the outside will never change what's in here and in here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am so sorry again for taking such a long 4-week little hiatus from YouTube, but I hope that this is a good way to intro myself back into your world, your heart, and your home. I hope you guys are all staying safe and healthy as things start to open up. Please remember to take the preventative and cautious measures to be safe out in this crazy, crazy world. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and be smart. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being patient with me, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Bye.